Nagito Komaeda, one of the most popular Danganronpa characters, for some stupid reason. Now, I could make a whole separate video on how Nagito is unlikable, how his mindset makes no sense and is never explained, why he believes the things he does, or how they spend so much time trying to justify his mindset by having him go on incoherent rambles that it takes time away from all the other characters who could be having story arc. But that's not what I'm here for. For those who don't know, Nagito is one of the main supporting characters from Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair, a character that believes that talent equals hope, and that those without talent are worthless. Essentially, he believes that people cannot change and are either born with hope and talent, or will always be worthless and evil. He believes that even if pain and suffering are brought to countless others, as long as it is for the sake of the hope of at least one person, then it is okay. That despair for the sake of hope is good, but despair for the sake of despair is bad. Alright, so this inherent mindset makes the character unlikable, especially due to how it is never challenged throughout the game. Despite his insistent hatred of himself, he always still believes that he is right and everyone else is wrong. Now, what I have explained isn't inherently written poorly. If the story was written in a way that challenged Nagito's mindset, or proved him wrong, then I'd be singing a different tune. But Nagito is always treated as the moral high ground. The game treats him like not only is he inherently smart, but unlike a character like Byakuya, no one ever shows him how and why he is wrong. He's never confronted. Let's take a look at everything Nagito does. He wants to kickstart the killing game by planting a knife in the old building. However, Teru catches him. Now, instead of doing the logical thing and telling the others about Nagito's plan, instead Teru creates an elaborate plan to kill Nagito, which, how lucky for Nagito, ends up backfiring and getting my goat, the ultimate imposter, killed in Imposter's attempt to stop the killing. I would say this chapter does Nagito's luck decently. Not great, but well enough that it doesn't make you question the game's logic. However, starting later in the game, Nagito's luck becomes an unstoppable poison on the game's story. Starting with the final dead room that Nagito finds his way through, not because he is smart or skilled, but because he loads a gun with 6 bullets and somehow gets lucky enough to not blow his brains out. But not only that, it just so happens that the information that he finds in the room doesn't serve to challenge his ideals, but instead serves to make them stronger and to get him to hate everyone and want them to die. This is Nagito's problem. He never forms a connection with the cast, he never learns anything, he never has a character arc. He simply exists as a stagnant force of chaos through the story. Nagito's genius plan changes to somehow convincing the others that he has bombs all over the island. He doesn't do anything to prove this, other than showing the others a very small explosion. They just believe him for no reason. Anyway, he puts poison in one of the fire grenades, and his plan is for him to get so lucky that Chiaki not only coincidentally picks up the one with the poison in it, throws it at him, and kills him with the poison without even realizing it, and gets away with killing him, and the others get executed. Let me tell you, how in God's name am I supposed to believe that Chiaki just so happened to be the one to pick up the poison? That could have been any of them. But no, Nagito's plot armor is so strong that it goes exactly according to his plan. But that's not even the worst part. This guy, the guy that's supposed to believe that nobody can change, the guy that believes that someone talentless will be talentless forever, that same guy, this guy contradicts his own ideals in a deranged speech where he claims that he wants to become the ultimate hope by defeating the ultimate despairs. Do I need to explain how this contradicts everything that Nagito claims to believe throughout the game? He calls himself talentless and says people can't change, but for some reason, he's the one exception. Luck is not a good way of writing your story, simply because it is not a real thing. It is not realistic that someone would get so lucky countless times that it becomes plot armor. It's unable to be taken seriously. In a story, everything should have a reason for happening. Either a character's motivation, or another event that dominoes into something bigger. All the things that Nagito tries to do just miraculously happen because he's lucky. Anyway, I haven't even mentioned how the Danganronpa 3 anime further makes this character make no sense. First of all, why the hell does he plan to blow up the gym to get his friends out of a test? It is never established that he would ever want this. Not only does he not even like any of his friends, he explicitly just views them as vehicles for hope. He does not value them as individuals. But more importantly, why wouldn't he want them to take a test to make sure they're worthy of being at hope's peak and that they have hope instead of, blowing up the gym. How at the end of the Hope arc, he's inexplicably all buddy-buddy with the Ultimate Despairs he hated so much and tried to kill. People this whole time he believed can't change. Now, if he actually had a story where he realized that his mindset is wrong, then that would be great. But he doesn't. He's still the same old Nagito that thinks talentless people are worthless and can't change. It's just never explained why he suddenly likes his classmates. With all that being said, if a story is written in a way where something that happens has no rhyme or reason, and simply happens just because, well, Nagito got lucky, then that isn't a good way to write a story. And I hope to God that in Danganronpa 2x2, Nagito's luck doesn't play an important role in the story. And certainly hope that it isn't the sole cause for multiple important events throughout the game. On top of that, I would love an actual character arc or some kind of development for this character, because he is the definition of a stagnant character in Danganronpa 2. And the reason that is bad is because he is stuck as a character whose mindset doesn't make sense, and as a character whose influence on the plot is completely contrived. At the very least, we can only hope that he doesn't have an important role in the story again. God knows he damn near ruined the game the first time. That is why Nagito is a poison on Danganronpa 2's story.